Hey everyone, welcome to this weekly Sidereal Astrology forecast for the week of August 12th through the 18th of 2024. Alright, so this week we are essentially coming into the first quarter moon of the lunar cycle. About a week ago we had the new beginnings and we are now starting to implement them and really challenge ourselves. We can notice a lot manifesting this early part of the week with that first quarter, but we do also have some important aspects taking place as well. Perhaps the most important is on Wednesday when the planet of Mars, of assertiveness and drive, conjoins up to expansive Jupiter. A new chapter between these two planets for the next roughly 2.5 years of how we can expand our horizons a little more, be open-minded, maybe a bit optimistic, a bit adventurous, and this could help with anything that we want to assert, put action towards, or set some goals with in our lives. On Thursday, Mars will be squaring Saturn, however, so there is definitely some foot on the brake a little bit with this, and so anything that's about taking things one step at a time, it can feel a little restrictive, but remembering the long term with things is a really good way of working with this aspect. And then the week ends here with Mercury retrograde over the Sun and those two planets squaring up to Uranus on Sunday. So the halfway point of the Mercury retrograde, good to do maybe a little bit of a status check with what we've been rethinking, redoing, reevaluating, and challenging ourselves to implement it in a way that's about more freedom in our life, but in a constructive way. Squares to Uranus can be a bit rash, a bit impulsive, maybe a lot coming at us. And so anything that's about mindfulness in terms of healthfully implementing that freedom, that willingness to have new experiences, get outside of our comfort zone a little bit, can be fantastic. All right, so let's go and take a look at all of this here in more detail when we return. Alrighty, so here is the sky for this week. We're going to look at this for each day of the week, starting first with Monday, August 12th. And as you can see here, we are using the visible sky on this channel, which is very different from mainstream astrology. In mainstream, they all use an even 30 degrees for all of the signs, and even in the West, they fix it to the seasons. And so this deviates from the actual placements, and so the sign placements do change. For example, that new moon we just had was at the very end of Cancer, but maybe you heard it be in Leo. So if you are new to this channel and you notice the sign placements are different, check out that link down below for more information. All right, so let's go ahead and do just a little bit of a recap. We don't have any sign changes this week. Everything is well set for where they're going to be this week. For the most part, the fast movers, aside from Mars, are all in Leo. And so it's a great time to be focused on expressing ourselves right now, even though we did just have that new moon a little bit closer to Cancer. And while it's still good to be caring for ourselves, protecting for ourselves and others, definitely Leo season, which is really about expressing ourselves. So great to do what we love, spend time with the things and people we love, and express ourselves in whatever medium we might do that. Will energize us with the sun. It's a great way of connecting with Venus, whether it's in those relationships or enjoying these kinds of things. And with Mercury retrograde, there's likely a lot being reconsidered here as well. So rethinking what it is we love in life, what are our passions, what it is that's close to our heart, and this can allow this process to be reworked also. And then Mars is doing his own thing as he normally does. He's over in Taurus, about to go over Jupiter. And so there is this sense of also earth energy and taking things one step at a time, and we're seeing that reflected with some of the square to Saturn this week as well. But Mars is all about taking things one step at a time and making sure we're stopping to smell the roses. We want to make sure that everything that we are putting action into, we're doing it slowly, we're doing it without putting the carriage before the horse, and really mustering up that inner strength and inner resources in order to do so. So anything that is about taking that one step at a time, seeing the long road, and mustering up those inner resources, to cultivate things in life, I think is great. All right, so that's the main placements. Definitely this energy of Earth and Fire, and some of these planets sort of squaring each other this time of the month as well, which we'll see some energy with also. All right, so let's go ahead and start with Monday this week. So right off the bat, we do enter that first quarter moon. This is the same time last week where we had the new moon, which was planting the new seeds for this whole lunar month. So now we're definitely in the action phase now coming into the week. Really good to challenge ourselves, really noticing that a lot is starting to manifest in the context of these new beginnings. And anything that is about taking action or challenging ourselves to do so, to move this energy forward, is a great way of working with this, particularly early part of the week. Once we do get to the later part of the week, we'll start to notice more and more momentum, more wind in our sails coming out of the sort of apex or clash sort of energy, and starting to get into that full moon. The full moon will be Monday of next week, which is usually the harvest of a lot of things that we can be, in this case, challenging ourselves with this early part of the week. So on Monday, the moon will be in Libra. Just as a backdrop here, probably themes around balance and fairness and doing the right thing, maybe some interpersonal stuff as well. So anything that brings more balance into our personal lives and how we relate with others interpersonally, I think is great for Monday. Then as we do get into Tuesday, we'll get into some of that Scorpio energy, and also Wednesday with the moon in Ophiuchus, also that healer kind of energy here. So the deeper part of the sky, not the most comfortable place for the moon to be in, the moon representing our more inner world and what we need for security, but certainly listening to that need to dive deep. And so anything that is about diving deep with ourselves, with life, with other, can be fantastic. And in this way, we can really enjoy the deeper, richer, more meaningful aspects of life there. So great couple days there for personal transformation, for growth, for healing, both here Tuesday and Wednesday. Then as we start to get into the Wednesday time period, we will get closer to that Mars over Jupiter in Taurus. So this is quite a nice aspect. I mean, conjunctions are usually neutral in nature, but it's nice to see these two fire signs sort of connecting here. So this is a new beginning for the next roughly 2.5 years when it comes to how we can be asserting ourselves in the context of being open-minded and adventurous and being willing to listen to that spirit for life. So even though it is all very grounded, and there's certainly been some inspirations or things to be open-minded about this year regarding Taurus, right? So Taurus with Jupiter here has been a great year for being open-minded about cultivating both our inner and outer resources in life, and learning a lot about our inner and outer resources and our values of life in general. So now Mars contacting this really gives us a nice step in the right direction to maybe put some energy towards this, to assert ourselves a little bit, be independent, take some actions in a way that's maybe listening to some of those inspirations that maybe have been coming through this year in that context of self-reliance and cultivating our inner and outer resources. So that's going to be strong for pretty much this whole early to middle part of the week. Once we do get into that Thursday time, we will start to, first off, come out of that deeper world with the moon, and we start to get into some Sagittarius energy. This is the part of the sky where we have that final transformation. We'll probably feel on Thursday, coming out of the deeper cocoon phase of the past couple days, and then starting to get into that very Jupiterian kind of energy of Sagittarius. So more of that open-mindedness, more of that free spirit, more of that adventurousness. And this is adventurous both mentally and literally, but anything that's about listening to that spirit of life. So that's a great few days there to work with that. That's Thursday, Friday, and Saturday with the moon in Sagittarius. Now, I do say a lot of this with a caveat because we also have not conflicting, but different energy here. So Mars, that planet of assertiveness, is going to be in a clash with very patient, disciplined, and persevering Saturn. And with this aspect, it's really in the context of what started back around mid-April. So April 10th of this year, that's when these two planets conjoined, similar to the way Mars and Jupiter are conjoined now. And so this means that we are coming to our first challenges of the Mars-Saturn cycle. And usually the way this feels is that it's important to be patient. It can feel like maybe 2 steps forward, 2 steps back, especially if we're wanting things now, or that Mars energy is very strong. So remember the long term, remember the big picture, and utilizing, I think, this middle to later part of the week as a way to be patient with these things, see that long term, be persevering, I think is a great way of working with this. But it can be very constructive, and the things that we are willing to take time with, this middle to later part of the week, can really be beneficial for that long term. So it could end up being actually a very constructive, very building, very establishing sort of energy here for the long term there. All right, so that's also another important aspect here. That's Thursday and Friday with Mars squaring up to Saturn. Now, once we do get into Saturday, again with that moon still in Sagittarius, which is about that free-spirited energy, we do have some aspects going into Sunday. So Sunday is quite a shift of energy here. The moon will go into Capricorn, and we are going to be gearing up for a full moon. As I said, it will be right in between Capricorn and Aquarius, right in between these constellations. And so it's definitely going to be a blend of both. So this is really preparing us, I think, for the Capricorn side of it. And just like everything we just talked about with Saturn, about patience and perseverance, that's really, I think, a big part of this full moon with Capricorn specifically. And we can feel that energy certainly on Sunday. So again, a bit of that patience, a bit of that long-term view and responsibilities can really go a long ways there on Sunday. But with that being said, with the aspects, we've got Mercury. Basically what you're seeing here, most important ones, is Mercury retrograde over the Sun. And this marks the halfway point of the Mercury retrograde 3-week process. So good to listen. Mercury retrograde is a time of, again, trying new things, experimenting, and the halfway point can be a shift with this. It doesn't always mean mentally, although it certainly can with Mercury, but we start to learn new things, or through our experiences, we learn to be a little bit more adaptive, or we get a new perspective on things. And so by listening, by creating a little bit of space for that to come in, it can be fantastic. Now, on a more physical or practical level, with this particular combination, and particularly because it's squaring erratic Uranus, it can bring in a bit of that electricity in the mind, whether it comes through as just a lot coming at us, maybe nervousness, anxiety, whatever it might come through as. But this idea that there's a little bit of clash, let's say, between what we're thinking about, what we're doing, and our higher self, the higher self part that wants change and wants freedom and wants excitement. And so a little bit of that bottlenecking, a little bit of that electricity, a little bit of that excitement or willingness to have change, that can be a little bit strong. So by being mindful of that, we can help balance out this energy. And a great way, I think, of working with this is, of course, making sure that we're taking plenty of time out and space just to kind of balance this out, so we're not being too impulsive or rash with things. Connecting to our bodies, maybe getting plenty of sleep, rest, taking it easy. This can all help, of course, calm down that erratic electricity kind of energy. But what it's really calling us for is to, yes, listen to that part that wants change and to implement it in constructive ways. Again, I would say with Capricorn, in patient ways and long-term ways. So without rushing into things, listening to that true self and taking things slowly in terms of, while listening to the true self, still thinking about the long term. And in this way, it becomes very balanced. So anything like that in your day-to-day life, or maybe regarding some of these bigger picture things of the lunar cycle, can be strong, because again, this will be the time of the month where we come up to the full moon, the halfway point, which is usually where we make some shifts and changes. So there can be maybe some decisions, some shifts and changes we might be making for the month here. And then we kind of, after that happens early next week, we kind of go on our merry way for the remainder of the lunar month there. All right, but we'll talk more about that on Monday of next week's weekly video. All right, everyone, so that is the week in a nutshell. Most important thing is first quarter phase, implementation phase of the month. Early in the week, noticing more momentum, and then likely starting to implement some of these shifts and changes earlier next week. Very important aspects here. Mars over Jupiter, starting a new beginning with that side that is open-minded and wants to listen to our spirit, the fiery spirit. And any new seeds we can plant with this, new intentions we can plant with that, can be great, but with that bit of throttling, right? Especially here this Thursday, Friday time with Mars squaring up to Saturn, a bit of patience and a long-term view can really go a long ways. And then when we do get to that weekend, and maybe feeling a little bit of that, coming out of that, maybe a little bit of free-spiritedness, a reminder to take things slow, as we might have some things coming at us, some changes, maybe busy, electricity, whatever it is that we want to implement constructively. To listen to, but implement constructively for probably this full moon around the Monday time of the shifts and changes for the lunar month. All right, so everyone have a fantastic week. Thank you so much for watching. Be sure to click the like button if you're watching this on YouTube. And if you haven't yet gotten your True Sidereal report, it's absolutely free. There's a link down below. You don't even need to type in your email or anything like that. Just type in your birth details on the website and you'll see a short printout of your sun, moon, and ascendant in True Sidereal format. Again, True Sidereal is using the actual visible sky, and so it's very different. And if you haven't yet, do definitely check that out. But again, have a great one, everyone, and I'll see you all next time for the next astrology forecast. Take care.